Hey guys, today we're talking about how to invest $500,000. It's a tough question. Most people have no idea where to start or what to do when they do get that 500 grand. Today we're going to talk about it in depth. I'm Rob Tatro from robtatro.com, head of the Tatro Wealth Advisory Group here at Canaccord Genuity Wealth Management. I'd love for you to comment, like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to reach out to me and speak to me directly, please go to speaktorob.com. Fill out the consultation form, and you and I will be talking real soon. All right, we're talking about 500 grand. So let's talk about some different scenarios, first of all, where you may have had that money. Now, first of all, if you are not retired, so if you are young and you're continuing to work and the income is meant, these funds is meant to supplement your income at a future date, this would be what we would call a longer investment term horizon, then this money should form part of your eventual retirement plan. So the idea, if you get 500 grand at a younger age while you're still working, and if the plan is not to draw on this income, then first of all, you should take a look at your financial plan. Take a look how this 500 grand impacts the future cash flow. Second of all, you should have a plan in place how to optimize the tax efficiency of this cash. First thing I would suggest is take a look at your TFSAs, your tax-free savings account. If you're married or if you're single, either way, that should be either one or two TFSAs that are fully maxed out. Take a look at the maximum contribution amount and max out your TFSAs. Why? Because all income that's being generated in your TFSA is going to be tax-free. Second of all, how high is your personal income right now? Yours, and if you're married, your spouse's. So if the income is high and the time horizon is long, your planner, we, will likely suggest an RSP contribution with a portion of that 500 grand. So hopefully you've accumulated some RSP contribution at some point. You can make the full contribution today and you can defer as to when you want to take the actual deduction, but that is something that you should absolutely definitely consider. So you're either going to decide to put some in the TFSA, some in the RSP, maybe you're putting some in the RESP. If you have kids, you can actually go back and contribute some prior years, the RESP. So you could do, for example, if you have two kids, you could do $2,500 each for this year, plus $2,500 each for last year. So that's a quick 10 grand that you could put into the RESP. The government's going to give you 20% of that, so you've now increased your wealth. So after that, if there's no other room to put investments, the rest will likely form part of what's called a non-registered account, or perhaps a joint non-registered account if you're married with your spouse. So now this income that's being derived in this account is taxable. So on top of the income that you're generating with your job, if you're working, you are now adding income to that through the non-registered account. So it's very important to make sure you are optimizing the tax efficiency of that portfolio. So how would you do that? Well, you would take a look at return on capital investments. You take a look at dividend-paying securities. You take a look at anything that's deferring a capital gain, or if you can crystallize something into a capital gain. Those are all taxed at a much favorable rate. Listen, this is complicated. I know it is. And if you're not sure if you're doing it the right way, please just go to www.speaktorob.com, fill out a consultation form. You can chat directly with me. All right, so now you've got the 500 grand. We've covered the situation where if you're still kind of actively working and this money is meant for the future, what if this money is now added in retirement? So maybe you've sold a condo and this is what you have left, or you've sold your home or a piece of farmland or a business, or you've inherited this money. So now this money is being added to your retirement plan on top of your otherwise other income. What do you do with that money? So the first thing I would want to do is definitely take a look at the financial plan. How much money is coming in currently? So let's calculate the CPP, the OAS, all the money that's coming in through pensions, through passive income such as real estate investments. Take a look at all of the income that's coming in and then say, are we short on income? And do we need this 500 grand to supplement that income? And if we do, all right, let's build a portfolio here. Let's build something that's going to generate income, tax-efficient income for you. Now, if the money is needed now in lump sums to pay off either debt or to pay off expenses, well, then the choices are somewhat limited. You sell, you take some of that cash, you use that cash directly to pay off some expenses or some debt. But if it's actually a surplus after, at the end of the day, let's build a portfolio for income. Let's structure something that is going to be tax efficient, and let's start drawing on that income. In retirement, obviously the time horizon is a little different than when not retirement. So, when you're working, obviously there's going to be a lot more growth stocks. There's going to be a lot more plays that are longer, a lot of a different profile of stocks that will be in there, and typically the profile will lead towards like a growth portfolio versus a conservative portfolio. And if you're at retirement, well, then we might splash in some fixed income. You could potentially get some bonds in there, potentially get some some income producing notes, also some real estate securities, some dividend paying stocks, but a little bit more, potentially more defensive if you're at retirement and you're drawing on that income. All right, so if you're young, if you're retired, you're young, you're not retired, we've taken a look at how that looks like. You're retired, you're adding 500 grand to the portfolio, what to do. And finally, if this money is coming through like a pension, a LIRA, a locked-in retirement account, or maybe a conversion, a rollover from a spousal transfer on death of a spouse, well, then the assets go into what's called a registered account. So that would be either a locked-in retirement account, perhaps a RIF, a retirement income fund, or maybe it's even an RSP. If you're acquiring that 500 grand that way, well, then the plan then is less cumbersome because you don't have to worry about the taxable consequences of that because it's in a registered account. However, you're going to have to factor in the withdrawal of that as income because every dollar that you withdraw from that registered account is now taxable. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it's a lot of moving parts here, folks, and if you're not sure, please reach out to us, www.speakToRob.com. I'm Rob Tatro. Thanks for tuning in.